Yo, what is popping, guys? We are back on Pokemon Channel today for my draft recap for the ITL season 6. It is starting in 2 weeks, roughly. July 17th is the beginning of week 1, and yeah, I'm pretty hyped for this. Last season, I came up short in the semifinals, losing to timer stall bullshit. But this year I'm back with a very solid squad in my opinion, and I'm obviously here to dethrone the king himself, Gypsy King, who like took over my league by storm and went like 57-1 or something and won the chip. Obviously, pretty dominant season, but I'm definitely back, and I will try my best to get the chance to face my good buddy Gypsy King in the finals and hopefully take away the chip from him. I was the champion of the ITL in season 2 and 3. Sadly, I lost in season 4 finals and then in season 5 um, semifinals. But I won my third chip in this league. It's my own league. I'm the commissioner of it. But like obviously, I have a lot of people within the league helping me run it. Like it basically runs itself, which is pretty nice. So because like we're all pretty solid, like pretty cool, pretty good friends. A lot of NPL guys in there, like my buddy Trevor, my buddy Sebastian, my buddy Nick, my buddy Alpha, all the good guys. This season we actually added Zamrock, pretty well-known OU player in my opinion, very well-known small gun player, very solid player. He's actually in my division, should be fun. And we added T-Train, who was in the NPA finals, I think, versus A-Drive, where he lost sadly, but should be a very solid addition to the league. With 12 teams, again, 6 teams will make playoffs. I obviously will try my best to get a first round bye in the playoffs again, but gonna be a very interesting season, very tough season because all of the guys are very solid players. So in the draft, I had the 11th pick in the first round, and then like obviously in the snake, because it's snake format at the second in the second round and so on. But like a very late first round pick, so I couldn't get my hands on some of the broken mons like Magiana or Tapulele or Hoopa Unbound or Landorus Incarnate, all of which I allow in my league because I feel like they aren't broken at all. Mm. So I like when it came to me, I still had a shot at drafting like Kieran Black and Landorus Therian, Celesteela Mew, stuff like that. Mons that I have used either last season or I've used so often that I didn't feel like using them. Celesteela was a mon on my radar, but I didn't feel like Celesteela would be like the greatest pick for me because like I don't feel like it's my mon. It can be pretty annoying. Can like you can do like some very specific EV spreads with it, which I always like. But I felt like I wanted some bulky, like I want to take some bulky offensive approach, which with my team this season. Definitely like wanted to have some like what a nice Volton core. Wanted a very solid defensive core to take on all the threats that are gonna be in my division, in my conference, and that are like running through the meta anyway. So the first pick I decided to go with is my boy Mega Venusaur. Mega Venusaur, in my opinion, just got better in Gen 7, to be honest. Like, it was a monster in Gen 6, in my opinion, one of the best megas in the form. But now it even got better. Like, it checks all the Tapus besides Tapu Lele really well. It, like, it checks all the strong fighting touches. It checks basically everything that's not Saga and Flying 7. It, like, checks Magia now, which is really huge. It checks stuff like Greninja, obviously in OU, but Protein Greninja or Ash Greninja obviously banned in my league. But it's like just a mod that checks such a wide variety of mons that I couldn't pass up on it. I've used it in season 2, which actually was my first league championship ever, and this mon was like the backbone of my team. Like it brought to every game, I think, mostly in a defensive role, but I put in so much work, and I'm really hyped to use it again. I used it for like 4 weeks in the PMC when I was in there before I dropped out, but yeah, like I didn't like really feel it in the PMC back when I was in there. So I'm definitely hyped to use it in my own league and to surround with good like good partners to form a very nice defensive core. Mega Venusaur is like, looking at the stats, it's like a perfect all-around wall and has like a big offensive presence, which I really wanted with my squad. Didn't want too many passive members because I feel like like in Gen 7 the draft format has like a lot of players have made the transition from like more bulky squads to a lot of setup, lot of offensive squads. Like just from my experience, I faced a lot more wild sets, like a lot more heat than I used to face in Gen 6. And Venusaur, with its offensive presence, like just doesn't allow setup from most mons. Obviously, like birds and psychic types can still set up on it. But besides that, like just checks a lot of setup sweepers. I could potentially like just check even DD Zard X because it always gets like 50% off with the sludge bomb. We could check SD Chomper because it always can take a hit of plus 2 even. And like just like really hard to set up in front of Mega Venusaur, and that just stops offensive teams from running all over you because it can always take it. Like this mod is almost impossible to win a KO. Like you need a really strong psychic type to OHKO it, and even then, like Mega Alakazam, if you invest correctly, for example, can't OHKO Mega Venusaur, which is absolutely wild. So really hard to have it. The move pool obviously is pretty solid for wall leech seed synthesis. Knockoff, Giga Drain, Sludge Bomb, Earthquake, like the sleep powder, toxic obviously. Swordsmith if you want to run an offensive set, which can be nice. Like Amnesia Curse gives you a lot of nice options. So like obviously not the best move pool because like grass type and grass types usually don't get the sickest move pools out there, but definitely has enough coverage to cover anything. Like even with like Giga Drain Sludge Bomb, you basically hit everything that ain't a steel type, and then you have Earthquake or HP Fire or whatever, and you can go from there. So Venusaur can always pack the coverage that makes it not passive at all, like just alongside this massive 122 special attacks that like invested in like 174 max special attack, and that ain't even modest, so it's like pretty crazy. So I'm super hard to have Mega Venusaur on board. It just gives me the fat check to basically everything in the format right now, which is super hype. Also in like before I made this pick, the two guys in my division drafted Mega Lopunny and I think Tapu Bulu or Tapu Koko, all of which are checked by Mega Venusaur, which is pretty nice. So yeah, makes sense to get that mon, like just for division purposes too. But definitely was a mon that I had on my radar even before the draft started. So next up, I actually drafted a mon that I used last season. Obviously not Kyurem Black because Kyurem Black got pick 12 or pick 13, so one pick before it was my turn again, but I didn't really want Kyurem Black anyway, and I decided to get a fat water type and a defogger. Like I felt looking at the entire draft order and like what I felt I wanted to do. I wasn't sure if I get like solid defoggers that I really liked or solid removers that I really liked, and I felt like this was a good spot to pick up one of the best defoggers in my opinion this gen, and a very fat water type that I actually loved using last season, and that is Tapu Fini. Fun fact, like last season, Tapu Fini was Defensive Mon of the Year in the ITL, and season 2, Mega Venusaur actually got that title, both of which were on my team at this point. So I've proven that I can use those mons really well, and Tapu Fini is like, in my opinion, a fantastic mon. It's super underrated. I feel like a lot of players say like Tapu Koko is like after Lele, obviously Tapu Koko is better than Bulu. Bulu is better, or Bulu is at least as good as Tapu Fini or something. But in my opinion, Tapu Fini makes a case for being the second best Tapu, just because it does a lot of stuff that other mons don't do. Like when you look at Tapu Koko, you got so many fast electric types that can actually do the same stuff as Tapu Koko. Obviously, they don't hit as hard because of the electric terrain, but like Raikou or Mega Manectric or those ones, like they all like fill the same role basically on the team. Like Tapu Koko can do a little bit more because it can taunt, it can roost, which is nice, and it can hit physically and specially offensive, which a lot of solid electric types can't do, but it still fills a certain role and not that much more. While Tapu Fini here, like it just can do so much different stuff. It can defog. It can be very offensive with a solid 95 special attack. Like if you specs it or if you can't mind it, it can be like it can hit really hard because of its great dual stab, Water Fairy, also perfect defensive typing, like one of the best defensive typings in the game in my opinion. It can, like, unlike other bulky waters, it doesn't get worn down by a toxic because of the Misty Surge prevents from getting status if you play it correctly. Don't stay in for like six consecutive turns. And there's a very solid speed here, which other bulky waters don't always have. Also, you got stuff like Suicune and Melodic that also are in the 85 range, but obviously, like a lot of bulky water stuff is usually pretty slow and is pretty prone to crits. Obviously, sadly, it doesn't get recovery, but besides that, you can always like slap leftovers on there because you don't really need any other item on it. Even like if you like, unless you run Specs or Scarf for some surprise offensive sets, like you can never shy away from using leftovers on there. Like I think last season I used leftovers like every time besides one time I think where I used a choice scarf set I think. But besides that, like Tapu Fini, it just gives you so much different stuff. Gives you a Calm Minesweeper potentially while also still being a defogger because like don't really need to run more moves than Moonblast plus Surf. So we can always like fill multiple roles in one set in 1 week. So like you don't always have to run defog, taunt, Nature's Madness, just like the and Haze, like just standard defense sets. You can combine that with like Calm Mind to always have an offensive pressure and like really take advantage of mons that can't break you. Like you can come in, take like 30% chip from some stuff, and then like Calm Mind up and break other defensive mons that a lot of bulky waters can't do unless they run toxic. So Tapu Fini with Taunt, Calm Mind, it has like great potential to, while being an offensive mon, can abuse other defensive mons set up for them and really like take advantage of them, which is pretty hype. Definitely looking forward to use it again. And like the move pool obviously integrated. So you got ice coverage, obviously, fairy coverage, water coverage, which most of the time is enough. You don't really need grass knot unless you face like stuff like Gastrodon or something. Like you don't really need it. You got screens, which is nice. Nature's Madness is a very sick move, especially combined with Taunt, which like where it functions kind of like a stall breaker. This type of Fini, but obviously like the main reason I drafted this was defog and its great defensive typing and like defensive capabilities. Like Tapu Fini is like, in my opinion, one of the more underrated mons in Gen 7 and it will prove to be a fantastic defensive mon, especially alongside Mega Venusaur. Like those two, they cover their respective weaknesses basically. Venusaur checks like poison types, electric types, and obviously grass types. But Fini, like obviously it doesn't resist like psychic types or flying types, but with its bulk, it can always like check some offensive birds, take at least one hit, fire back with a big Moonburst to knock them out or something. But obviously, I will draft my checks to flying types and obviously psychic types as well. But Tapu Fini definitely will prove to be a big part of the team. I see myself bring it a lot of the time. So definitely very cool. And Venusaur always will also appreciate the misty terrain because you don't want to burn Mega Venusaur, especially if you run like Earthquake for coverage purposes or something. You like obviously don't want to get T-Wave because Venusaur likes its speed here where it is, like it likes to outspeed other passive stuff like Clefable or something. You don't want to get Parrot and then like potentially lose to set up Clefable or something. So like I feel like those two combined will form a very solid defensive core. So heading into round 3 and 4, I had those two the next 2 months. I had on my mind for like after I picked Mega Venusaur, basically I really wanted those two, and like I actually didn't get sniped for the first like 10 rounds of the draft, which is huge. I got sniped in round 11, but that didn't really matter because I got a great replacement. So I'm hyped to get in round 3. I got my boy Tornadus Therian back. It will actually be one of my Z captains. That's why the Flying Z is here. And like Tornadus T, in my opinion, has always been just like as I mentioned with Tapu Fini, it's always been one of the more underrated threats in the draft form. Like everyone knows this, the speed is amazing with Tornadus Therian, but a lot of people like they didn't. In my opinion, I felt like a lot of people didn't feel like investing 180 points in a like tier-based draft or something, or their tier 1 pick in Tornadus Therian, while like some stuff like Manaphy or Mew or Weavile or other great offensive stuff is still in there. So like I get where they're coming from, but I feel like Tornadus Therian is just like a mon that can do so much work if you like play it correctly. Like obviously, a lot of people know the AV set is absolutely fantastic, enough speed to creep whatever you need, and then like max HP to give you a perfect pivot into some special attackers like Keldeo or like like Superior or something. Like a lot of mons can't really break Tornadus Therian. Like Volcarona can't do it unless it like sets up to +2 or 3 if I'm a bit different. It checks Charizard Y, one of the few mons that does it, like because it can hit it with a Smackdown or something, which is always nice. Like it checks Dragons, can switch into Draco Meteors, U-turn out, and then like allow you to go into your pivot, obviously, or into your counter after like dropping your opponent's special attack to -2 after taking the Draco, for example. So it can switch into Latios or Latias, obviously, can switch into Hydreigon, all the crazy things. The speed allows it to outspeed some slower Scarfers, which is always nice to have. But like I wish it was a little bit faster, like 130 or something would have been nice. But look at it, like it has very solid overall bulk with the 90 special defense, 80 defense, and basically 80 HP, which is pretty nice. And it has great attack stats for a mon that mostly functions as a pivot. Combine that with a terrific move pool and a Z crystal that I can use. It can like put in quite a lot of work. You can run it like mainly offensive with Life Orb or Z move or something. You can run it with an Assault Vest set and will still do quite a bunch of damage to some opponents. So, like it can break down a lot of defensive cores out there with an Expert Belt set, for example, with like Hurricane and coverage or something. It can just be annoying with knockoff and U-turn because like it forces so many switches. It can taunt, it can tailwind if need be. Sludge Wave hits fairies, which is always nice to have. As Psychic as a nice move, Hammer Arm, Grass Knot, like all this coverage combined with like Taunt or something, with the Regenerator ability, makes it a fantastic stall breaker and like just a nice pivot to a lot of defensive threats, which is really nice to have. Like in my opinion, Tornadus Therian is a mon that is like I always struggle to prep for Taunty. It will like it's basically impossible to switch in unless you have like a mon like Stunfisk or something that can just take any hit from it. But mostly like the Rotom Heat is a mon that can take a hit from Tornadus T as well. Rotom Wash obviously, like electric types check it fairly well, but electric types usually aren't the bulkiest mons out there, so they can't really take 2 heat waves or a heat wave into superpower or something, and you can like always knock off leftovers or something, or Salt Vest from mons that want to check it, and like it can just be like a very disruptive mon in terms of wearing down defensive cores and like just switching and pivoting into offensive threats, especially special attackers with an Assault Vest. So Tornadus Therian, yeah, my boy, definitely will be a crucial part of the team for sure. Regenerator, absolutely fantastic ability combined with the very fast U-turn, will basically make up for rocks damage, which could be annoying on this mon, obviously, because weak to it, but with the Regenerator ability, it doesn't really mind anti-hazards too much, which is nice. Next up, I got my boy Mamoswine back. I use this mon so often in League. I used it in Season 3 and Season 4. It was the MVP of Season 3, I think, where I got 20 kills with it in like 9 games or so. Got like 4 kills in the finals match, I think. And like, you know what Mamoswine does, it's just terrific wall breaker. Look at his attacks, like 130, obviously with max IVs and obviously Adamant. I will try to find excuses to run Adamant Mamoswine basically all season because Adamant Mamoswine hits so terrifically hard, especially if you slap a Choice Band or Life Up on there. Like it just Earthquake and Ice Crash is just almost impossible to switch in. You might think like stuff like Milotic or Bulky Waters are switching, but actually most of them are 2-hit KO'd by Life Orb, Adamant, Earthquake after rocks, or even from full without rocks damage. It's like almost impossible to switch into. Like Rotom forms do the job well, but that's besides it. That's basically it. Like, you can't really switch into Mamoswine. Then you can always hit like stuff like Rotom with a Freeze Spray or something if you want to, which does a solid amount of damage to it, depending on your investment, obviously. Mamoswine does get the greatest move pool in the world, but you really don't need Earthquake and need more than Earthquake and Icicle Crash most of the time. You could run Knockoff if you want to hit stuff like Slowbro or something. Or you could run Stone Edge if you want to hit Rotom Heat or whatever. But besides that, you don't really need anything else than Dual Stab. It's one of these mons that you know what it's gonna do, but it really can't, like, you can't really do anything about it, because it can always find a free switch, and especially with the U-turn support from Tornadus, and then like get a big hit off, and basically you have to sack a mon to it unless your entire team outspeeds it and can revenge kill it, which is pretty hype. So Mamoswine definitely a very solid wall breaker. It can also be a nice late game cleaner if you like strap Choiceman on there and then like just be able to put yourself into a position where you can spam Ice Shot potentially. Ice Shot is a very nice priority and can like pick a lot of stuff off from like 40% because like it just hits so strong with its amazing attacking stat and obviously like a boosting item. It can even like drop some stuff like from full, like dragons that quad week just like get destroyed by an ice shot from full, which is absolutely crazy. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty nice. Mamoswine also gives me a much needed electric immunity. While I have obviously the Venusaur to check electric types to always come in on volt switches and shit like that, Mamoswine gives me a very reliable way to stop volt switches. You can't really like hit Mamoswine hard with most electric types because like obviously the thick pad makes it neutral to HP Fire, which a lot of electric types will run HP Fire or HP Ice, and like HP Grass won't do anything, especially if you go like with an Assault Vest set, which just shuts down even stuff like Mega Man Electric, which could fire off an Overheat, which will never be a 2-hit KO if you invest correctly. So that's pretty nice. Mamoswine definitely here to be one of the more offensive threats on my team. Yeah, that's basically it to know what Mamoswine does. Next up in round 5, I had a look at the teams. I knew I wanted the dragon, but I knew that the guy behind me, my boy Tyler, already picked Huron Black, so I knew that I could wait with my dragon for one more round and then pick it. So I decided to go with a different route here and pick my boy Rotom Heat. Another mod that I have used in a couple seasons ago in the ITL, I think in season 3 as well. But it gives me a crucial fire type, it gives me an electric type. Nice volt turn support here with the Tornado Therian to get my boy Mamoswine in safely to get a big hit off. Gives me a bird check for obviously for Mega Venusaur. No bird can really break it besides maybe a Bandit Staraptor or like a Rock Slide Pinsir or something, like Mega Pinsir that is. But besides that, it checks birds really well. Birds aren't that big anymore, obviously, but Supersonic Sky Strike is an attack that a lot of people tend to run stuff like Dragonite or Salamence or Celesteela, which will be nice to have, like a check to those attacks. Like a +1 Sky Strike from like stuff like Salamence or Lando T won't do a lot to Rotom Heat, even though it's staff and shit like that. So it's nice to have a pivot for those attacks and then like be able to revenge maybe with an HP Ice or something, or like just bolt it out of there, or just go into the next one that can like always take on standard fly because of like protect or something, or like just because it doesn't do too much damage or something. But Rotom here, another mon in the 80 speed here. I definitely need to get a mon around the 100, maybe between 100 and 121, where Torn is my fastest mon, and obviously a couple of slower mons. But the speed tiers right now are pretty nice because I'm not like really slow on my team. I can always like choice scarf anything if I wanted to have the fastest mon on the field, which is nice. Rotom sadly doesn't have the best move pool in the world, but you got Foul Play if you wanna like go with some shenanigans. You got obviously Overheat, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. You got Willow with Thunder Wave, which is nice to have. Trick to cripple some walls if you're a Scarf variant. You got Dual Screens again, which I definitely will use at some point, or I could see myself using. Sucker Punch to like pick off some Psychic types. Like Alakazam or something for a surprise kill, but usually most of the time it just goes Paint Split, Will-O-Wisp, Volt Switch, Overheat or something like that. Like those are the moves you will run the most, but that's fine. Like Rotom Heat, still a very solid, very potent offensive type. Electric Fire is pretty solid, and obviously has a great ability. Levitate. It will obviously need Tapu Fini to defog hazards away because Rotom doesn't have reliable recovery and will hate anti-hazards. But if I bring it, I definitely will make sure that rocks are never going up on my field for too long. So yeah, that's Rotom here. Not the most versatile of mons, but definitely a mon that gives me crucial resistances, crucial offensive typings, nice bolts and support, and yeah, like the Will-O-Wisp obviously is nice to like cripple physical attackers that can potentially break through my defensive core, and yeah, like just overall a very solid bulky offensive mon that, like, as you see, like my entire draft as of right now has been taking the bulky offensive approach pretty serious. So the next one actually isn't anything different. It's a mon that is known for its offensive capabilities and is my second and last Z captain, but it's also a mon that can be run defensively and stay around for quite a while in most games too. So I decided to grab my boy Hydreigon. My opinion, even with even more parries in the format, still one of the better dragons around there. With the Z Crystal, it can actually like beat down some stuff that it wasn't beating before, unless like, for example, take Clefable or something. Usually Choice Specs beats it if you're on Flash Cannon, obviously, but Clefable can always pivot out, and you have to predict around it. If you can like just like fire off a Dark Pulse, a modest Dark Pulse into a Corkscrew Crash with the Flash Cannon, obviously get rid of the Clefable if it wants to. Like it can beat its counters now with the introduction of Z moves, which is pretty nice. But also Mon can like you can just throw a life up on their Choice Specs, Choice Scarf, and will always put in work. It has a nice speed here, forces base 100, base 100s and up to 110s obviously. So always run a jolly or timid nature, which is nice. So you don't get nuked by an adamant Victini, for example. Gives me like some key resistances. Obviously, gives me the second part of my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, which is important. Gives me a Dark type, which is always nice to have because Dark Step is pretty fantastic offensively. Also, you can drop crazy hard-hitting Dracos with its massive special attacks, and then it has amazing bulk. Looking at it, obviously it's 4 times weak to Fairy. Has some weaknesses, but it checks a bunch of typings that could potentially be annoying to deal with, like fire typings, for example. It gives me a psychic type check. Obviously, you know a lot of psychic types tend to learn Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam most of the time, but they always have to predict and they can never lock themselves into Psychic, which is nice as long as Hydreigon is around. Um, one of the best sets, obviously, on Hydreigon is the Stallbreaker set. I have a bunch of Stallbreakers now with potential Taunt, Hydreigon, Taunt, Fini, but the one that does the job the best is possibly Hydreigon, like Taunt, Roost, Dark Pulse, and then whatever coverage move you need is like it can shut down so many defensive cores. Like it's really crazy. Also gives me another U-turn user. Has Thunder Wave. Has a great move pool with Surf, Superpower, Rock Slide. Excuse me. Ice Fang, obviously. Fire Blast, Focus Blast, Flash Cannon, Earthquake. Like it gets so many different moves, and with the introduction of Z moves, you can always run like even stuff like Thunder Fang has some merit if you want to break down a big water type that with like the combination of Draco Meteor and then like the electric type Z move, for example, and like just go from there. Like it can function as a fantastic wall breaker. Also, Scarf can be a potential late game cleaner, obviously, where you can just like spam Dark Pulse to pick off your opponent's team, which is always nice, and gives me like a crucial speed here, which is definitely important. So my first 6 picks, I've been like really happy about those, and I was hoping that I get my next 2 or 3 as well, which I actually did. So that's hype. Next up, I after picking like those first 6, I knew that I wanted my boy back. One of the mons that I've used the most in the format, and one of the mons that I'm like very confident in using, and that is my boy Hattori Hanzo, the Astelgor. I needed a spiker on this team because like bulky offense with spikes can be super annoying because a lot of mons like Vinu, Tapu Fini, Mamoswine, Tornadus, they force so many switch-ins, especially with the Volturn support. Like, you want hazards up to pressure opposing supports even more. Like, Aselgo does a fantastic job of um, getting spikes up and keeping them up. Like, not a lot of mons, like stuff like Ferrothorn, um, Garbodor, if you want to use that thing as an example, and other spikes, they have a lot of trouble to potentially keep up spikes. Fortress is another one of those mons, because they like allow rapid spins too frequently just because of their low speed. Aselgor has obviously a fantastic speed with 145, one of the fastest mons around, and it like has the moves to prevent rapid spins at all. You can always go with Encore to stop some stuff, like if you like inverse a rapid spinner, you go for spikes where he attacks, you can Encore him into that attack and force him to never never be able to spin, obviously. And you obviously have Final Gambit, which just like kills the Selgo, blocks the spin, blocks the defog, and then you can go into a counter to the or into a revenge kill into the in front of the defogger or the spinner and go from there. Like, a Selgo makes it really hard for your opponent to spin, especially in front of him. It's in front of the Selgo, it's basically impossible. But also like a Selgo won't only be a hazard setter and suicide lead for me. Like, a Selgo, looking at his special attacks, at base 100 doesn't scream like it's the best, but Bug Buzz is actually like Bug Stab is actually pretty solid offensively. Like, a lot of people underestimate the power of a Selgo or special bug types in general, like Yanmega or Volcarona. Like, those are monsters that can really plow through opposing teams and then like get like over 50% of easily with a life or bug buzz or something. And Selgo also has the move pool to make it work. Not the best move pool, obviously, but it has bug buzz, it has energy ball, it has focus blast, which hits a nice amount um, of opponents pretty hard. Also Sludge Bomb for stuff like Clefable, for example, and then like with the choice specs or life up will do it. It will do its job fairly well as an offensive breaker, like just late game sweeper. Like, choice specs Asterio can easily sweep late game if you get rid of like a steel type that might be the only resistance to bug that your opponent has on the team. Like, don't underestimate the power of Asterio, especially with like hazards up. Bug Buzz will do quite a bunch of damage to it. To it. Like, you don't wanna sit there and then like realize you don't have anything for specs or Selga and then like just get 6-0 bad. Oh my god, so many kills with the Selga, it's pretty funny. Like, a lot of people, they only prep for the spike set and then like forget that life of Selga just like destroys their team and then like they sit there and see their whole life falling apart basically. But Selga obviously also has like some solid abilities. Unburden with the focus sash is absolutely fantastic in as a suicide lead because it always allows you to get up one last layer of spikes before going down, always to get off the final gambit and then like block a spin. Even if you only do 1 point of damage, it still blocks the spin obviously, which is nice. Sticky hold could be nice, just because like you don't want to lose your life up or your choice specs on a knockoff if you want, or you can like switch into a trick possibly, but most of the time Unburden obviously is the better choice here. Especially with this speed, you can run uninvested as Selga if you know you like get your Unburden boost. Like, for example, with the I can run a Misty Seed to like double my speed and then go from there, like, which could come in handy versus some teams, for example a Rain team, which I have in my division, but that's quite situational. Most of the time, like, you will run either the Sash or an offensive item. But a Selga definitely a very potent offensive mon and a very nice hazard lead. So next up, I decided to get my Steel type and check to Psychic types that still annoy my team, even though I have like the Hydreigon. But like Venusaur wants Psychic types to be completely gone, and I found a mon in tier 3 that does the job fairly well. Mm. First, I considered going Alolan Mug, but I felt like I wanted Steel type and I didn't really like the Steel types in the lower tiers, from which I haven't picked a mon yet besides a Selgor. And I decided to go with Metagross to be my Pursuit Trapper and Psychic type check of choice. It's a mon I haven't used actually. It's like one of the few mons on this team that I haven't used before, but it's a mon that I'm really hyped to hyped to use because looking at it, it has fantastic all-around stats. Yes, the speed here isn't the greatest, but it's enough to make it work, especially if you run like offensive agility or something. But besides that, SPDEF nice, defense amazing, HP solid. You can like just like if you run an assault with Metagross, you basically are guaranteed to beat psychic types unless they are called ridiculous, in which case you can run like just offensive and fuck them up with 2 meteor meshes or something. But Metagross allows me to switch into stuff like Tapu Lele, to Mega Gardevoir, to Alakazam, to whatever other psychic type runs around and wants to beat down my boy Venusaur. You can always run an Assault Vest set, take 2 or 3 hits, like even modest Focus Blast or modest HP Fires. You can take 2 of those and then Pursuit Trap them, do like 60% if you're like invested in attack, obviously, or like just kill some stuff like Alakazam, but Lele and Mega Guard, for example, will take like 60 to 70% depending on their investment on the turn they switch on. You're basically making useless. Obviously, Bullet Punch is also nice to pick off fairies like Mega Gardevoir, but Pursuit is one of the main reasons I drafted it. Not gonna lie, like I won't tell you otherwise. Like I'm obviously gonna be running Pursuit a lot of the time just to like check some stuff that could potentially annoy me. It's also like could Pursuit trap stuff like Staraptor, which could plow through my team or through my defensive core, and like you can just make it useless with a big Pursuit and then like revenge kill it on the next time it comes in with the Bullet Punch. The attack set is absolutely fantastic, obviously with Meteor Mash. What else? I'll get Hammer Arm, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Bullet Punch, obviously, Pursuit, Zen Headbutt as a secondary step, like Earthquake, obviously, like you hit really hard with 135 base attack. Like it hits harder than Mammoth Swine, which is absolutely crazy to think of. And like obviously with the Bullet Punch, you can pick off some weakened stuff pretty easily because it still does like 30 to 40% to even like unresisted unresisted hits, like not super effective but like unresisted, and then you can pick off some stuff that's weakened with a nice Bullet Punch and go from there. It also has a very nice special move pool. Look at this stat, like 95 special attack is nothing to laugh at. To slap like an expert belt on there, or just like invest in special attack, you can pick some stuff off with a Grass Knot, with a Psychic if you like know your opponent has like a physical wall that can't check Metagross. You can like go with a hidden power of your choice to catch a incoming dragon off guard or something. Like it definitely has some merit as a special attacker too, which is nice. Can make use of a lot of items, obviously like the resist berries like Sugar Berry could come in handy, Occa Berry, even like Cobra Berry if you see a Weavile in front of you or something. But besides that, like Metagross can make use of a lot of items. You can run a Scarf, so you can run a band that said you can run Life Orb or Expert Belt, Metal Coat, whatever you please, and you can put in quite some work with it. In my opinion, like it's more that is pretty underrated because it forces your opponent to prep for a lot of different sets, and if they don't do it, you can capitalize on that. Metagross can put in quite some work, can like easily get 3 or 4 kills if your opponent is under prep for Metagross, and that is nice to have. Next up, I actually considered drafting Licky for my tier 5 one, but I didn't really feel like it because it was like it is passive and shit like that. But I feel like I wanted another bulky water type, just to take pressure off of Tapu Fini. And I didn't feel like I needed a heal bell user because Misty Surge obviously is a thing. And I have enough taunters out there to not get toxic or burned or something. I have immunities to obviously every status on my team, which is also nice. So I decided to get another Wish Passer that like I feel like will suit my team a little bit better than Licky would have done, and that is Alomomola. Also gives me obviously the nice Regenerator core with Tornadoes, but that's not the main reason why I picked it. It's the only really passive mon on my team that I drafted, and I feel like because of that, Alomomola can put in work. If you like draft Alomomola alongside an Amoonguss or something, you will find you will face a team that can absolutely abuse those passive mons and then like set up in your face and you get 6 out. But Alongside a very potent offensive defensive core, yeah, basically that's it. With like those two here and Rotom and AV Metagross, Bulky Hydreigon, you're never like really getting swept by setup supers, and that's why I felt comfortable drafting Alomomola. It passes so many fat wishes if you play it correctly. Like it always can get a wish up, and you can like pass into a mon of choice because like all of these mons here can take a hit if need be and then like get back up to full, give you the momentum right back and like force your opponent to switch out and you like can keep your entire squad healthy with the help of Alomomola. Obviously the stats besides the HP and the defense are absolutely trash. And it has some solid speed to like potentially speed creep some stuff or not get speed crap, but besides that, like special attack is garbage. It doesn't even 2-hit KO a Garchomp with Ice Beam guaranteed, which is absolutely annoying. But you can always run physical attacks like Waterfall to at least make sure your opponent doesn't set up substitutes in your face. You can run like hard hitting attacks like Hydro Pump or Surf. Um, you can run Toxic to put your opponent on a timer on the switch, and if you like keep like going hard into Alomomola, you can spam Scar to get burns. It's like not too big of a deal, and get like these support moves are just too nice to have, like Healing Wish. Obviously Light Screen is another set that I could bring. Toxic obviously, like just the Wish passing set is so annoying to deal with as it like just checks so much stuff unless it can set up on Alomomola, which not a lot of mons can do. And obviously Alomomola is only weak to Grass and Electric types, which I have a fantastic check here in Mega Venus, so I have checks to Grass types and Electric types and Rotom. Mamoswine, Hydreigon, they all check electric types, and that's why I felt comfortable drafting Alomomola and putting it, despite repeating and typings, putting it alongside Tapu Fini and Mega Venusaur, as it will allow them to be healthy with the Wish Pass and then like go from there. Like Alomomola um, will definitely be coming to a couple games to like just make sure that I keep some stuff like Finny healthy if I desperately needed to check some dragons or something. And always making sure that I can pass wishes and shit like that. So definitely gonna be a big team player on my squad. I feel like knockoff is always nice too. Just looking at the set, you can always run a soak toxic set if you want to, taking away the stat power of your opponent, which is nice. You can spam like stuff like Icy Wind to make sure you can always revenge your opponent because it, like keep it slower than some revenges on my team. Like Alomola, while it is passive, you can if you play it correctly, it won't be passive at all. And I showed that I usually don't get swept by shit. So I hope that works out again. So yeah, that's my girl Mallory here. Definitely gonna put in a nice amount of work. Um, yeah. Next up, second to last pick. I see we're like 42 minutes in already. Pretty long recap again. But second to last pick, I wanted a rapid spin. I decided to go with Claydol. I needed to grab two tier 5 mons, and this was the best spinner available in my opinion. I could have gone Everlac, but I didn't want to go with another ice type. And Claydol is the one I haven't used yet, and I feel like looking at it, it's not too bad. Like obviously it doesn't have big offensive presence, but it has solid speed, very nice defenses, and it's a mon that actually can beat spin blockers potentially. Like you can't just go hard Gengar for example on a Claydol because its dual step will OHKO to it KO depending on your investment. You can always like run enough investment to lift a Shadow Ball guaranteed from stuff like Miss Magius or something, or some other ghosts that are around there, and there aren't too many solid ghosts anyway. So like unless your opponent has a spin blocker that actually doesn't get beaten by Clarion, you can always get a very reliable spin off. You can get rocks up. It's my third rocker on the team alongside Mamoswine and Metagross, which aren't the best blockers because you want to pack some coverage on there, or like some priority in the last spot if you like go with coverage in the first three. But um, yeah, it gives me another rocker that like is pretty reliable just because it's pretty fat and hard to take down if you invest correctly. Also gives you like a if you run max speed or something, you can run as a suicide lead on offensive teams with like stealth rocks and explosion, screens lead or something. Has a very solid move through with like earth power, grass knot, psychic, dazzling gleam, ancient power. Or even gets ice beam, which is nice. Shadow Ball, Signal Beam, obviously Stone Edge if you want physical. So like it gets a lot of lot of nice moves that you can exploit, like Trick Room. If you want to set that up for something, skill swap, versus like a magic bounce lead or something. It's like definitely a mon that can do quite some stuff, but obviously situational because it doesn't fit on all teams, because like obviously you most of the time you have better options to run removal on, especially if you have Finny. But if you run like if I run a spike setting team, I probably would bring Claydol over Defog on Finny just because I want to keep my hazards up on their side, obviously. And Claydol, I doubt it will come to more than 4 or 5 games, but it will come to a couple games, and I feel like it will be a very reliable rapid spinner with its overall bulk. It can always get off a hit, um, if I play it correctly. It gives me another ground immunity, which is nice. I have like 4 ground immunities on my team, so earthquake spam shouldn't be a big deal, which is nice to have. Like the more resistances to ground, the better in my opinion. So Claydor, definitely a solid mono. I will enjoy using it if I bring in like a nice guy Eddie here. Definitely gonna put in the work. So with the last pick, actually wanted Archeops just for a fourth rocker, a nice taunt lead, for example, and then just a nuke in general. Like Archeops, while it has a trash ability, it has actually like access to great moves on the special and physical side, and it has access to like a lot of speed that you can exploit. Like U-turn is nice to have. Obviously, like Earthquake, Acrobatics if you run that set. Stone Edge is a very hard-hitting attack. Like Head Smash is basically impossible to switch into kills. Even stuff like my girl Alo Momola, I think, if you run it with a life orb or something. But yeah, that was sniped, so I decided to get Tauros here. Gives me the same speed here with 110, which I found could be pretty crucial in the because like I don't want stuff like 120s or 115s to be able to run Adamant or Modest versus me. Mm. And it gives me like a potential revenger just to like some stuff like base around Scarfers or something. If I scarf that thing, I can always revenge those the rock climb or something. And Taurus actually looking at this move at its stats, it doesn't really look like it hits hard or anything, but with the sheer force ability and step life up on there, it is a crazy nuke. I've run some calcs and this mon 2 it can also all cost so many mons. Even with the special tech you can use it. Fire Blast with like some investment outcosts a fortress after rocks, which is absolutely wild, just because of the sheer force ability boosted by the life up. It can do crazy damage to some stuff. So pretty high, but it has a very solid move pool with like Rock Climb Return, Body Slam as its main stab moves. Earthquake, Facade can be nice, Fire Blast, Iron Head, another Pursuit Trap if you want to go that route, Rock Slide or Stone Edge. Obviously, like all these moves like Thunder or Fire Blast or Blizzard, you can use those versus mons that are quite weak to those attacks. You can run Wild Shot, Zen Head, but it's a decent move pool. Not the best, obviously, but normal spam, like just being able to run the Life of Sheer Force boosted Rock Climb or Body Slam will come in handy, because not a lot of teams have more than 1 or 2 normal resists, and normal timing is actually pretty potent offensively, and Taurus will provide me with a nice breakout, nice late game sweeper with a solid amount of speed, and like just being able to spam Rock Climb and hopefully hit those and yeah, to it chaos and stuff. But yeah, that's the team for the ITL this season. I feel very confident. It really fits my bulky offensive approach pretty nicely looking over it. I got enough priority to make up for a lack of speed that I feel like I don't really feel like I lack speed, because I have like 121 speed here, 145 speed here, 110 speed there. But obviously, like some Scarfers could be annoying, like Scarf Chomper. Once get rid of Feeny, can like plow through my team with the outrage. But then I have like stuff like Mammoth Swine to easily revenge it. Metagross will be able to revenge fairies that get out of hand. For example, it's like Diancie or something, or even Clefable if it like gets too many combines up. And I feel like my squad can take on any team that is out there. If I feel like I um, am too weak to a certain mon that I'm likely to face in playoffs or something, I can still make drops or trades or something and go from there. But yeah, that's the squad. Very hyped to be able to use it, and yeah, let me know what you think in the comments if you like would have made other picks. Obviously, like don't say yeah I would have picked Tapu Lele in round 7. Obviously, that wasn't available or something. But yeah, let me know what you think of the squad and if you like it. What do you think? How do you think we will do in the ITL this season? I'm definitely confident that we can at least make it back to semifinals or finals. But I obviously want to win the chip. So if you guys enjoyed, leave a like and comment and yeah, catch the ITL once it starts. Week 1 starts on July 17th, and then I will upload my games whenever I get them recorded. So, yeah, hopefully you're hyped. Definitely check out all the other coaches. Like Gypsy King is probably gonna upload. My boy Sabi is gonna upload. T-Train is gonna upload. I'm pretty sure. So a bunch of guys will upload their games. So that's gonna be fun. Definitely try to keep up with that. And yeah, catch you in the next vid. See ya.